Welcome, students. We're going to be continuing to look at the federal courts and the judicial branch, and today we're going to talk about the lower federal courts. These are the 94 federal judicial district courts, as well as the appellate courts. And you can see under Article 1 powers, Congress has established a number of specialized courts in addition to these in cases of limited subject matter jurisdiction. We'll talk about those too. The lower courts are important because they handle about 99% of federal cases. Very few cases go to the Supreme Court. And these lower courts, both the appellate courts and the district courts, can set precedents if the Supreme Court hasn't ruled on a matter. And they have been the scene of some rather dramatic cases. Aaron Burr, who was Vice President of the United States, was tried in a district court, as was Julius and Ethel Rosenberg, also tried in a lower court. The lowest tier court of the federal system is the district courts. There are 94 districts, and each district has to have at least 2 judges in each district. And some have many more than that. In fact, Southern New York district, which encompasses New York City, has 44 judges. You can imagine there are a lot of courts in New York City. And district courts will handle over 400,000 cases annually. Jurisdiction, as far as the district's courts are concerned, you will recall the Constitution explicitly gives cases involving residents of different states and cases involving foreign governments to federal courts. And so these federal courts handle about 250,000 civil cases a year. That might involve employment where a person feels that they've been wronged in their employment by a federal agency. And so that would be a federal case. Criminal cases, perhaps perjury. Someone has destroyed an aircraft. Okay, well, the aircraft belongs to the Air Force, and that's a federal case. Grand juries can be impaneled. That is, they can be brought in to decide if there's enough evidence to file criminal charges in a criminal case. Is there enough evidence that we want to put this person on trial? And every district court has its own bankruptcy court, which handles off to the side there bankruptcy, which doesn't slow down the federal court system. So each district does have a bankruptcy court. Of course, bankruptcy is a legal process by which persons who cannot pay money they owe others can receive some court protection assistance in settling their financial problems. Judges are the primary court officials in federal district courts. Their main job is to preside over the trials. They want to ensure that trials follow certain legal procedures. They instruct the juries as to what they can hear and cannot, how they can rule, what they can rule on. If participants decide to forego the jury, then the judge can decide the case. And Article 3 judges, those who are appointed to the Supreme Court, as well as district courts and appellate courts, serve for good behavior. That is, they serve until death or retirement. Bankruptcy judges are named by the Court of Appeals for the circuit, and bankruptcy judges usually serve around 14 years, and they are not tenured for life. Magistrate judges are appointed by the district court judges, and these magistrate judges are often responsible for overseeing the early parts of the criminal trial. The routine matters are carried out, and they might be responsible for hearing misdemeanor or minor cases that are punishable by 1 year or less of prison time. And a magistrate judge is an Article 1 judge as well. They're set up by Congress, and they don't serve for life. They serve terms of 8 years. Clerks can perform non-judicial jobs such as records, receiving fines, fees, and overseeing jury recruitment as well. And here you can see that Georgia has 1, 2, 3 district courts in the state of Georgia. Of course, the state of Georgia is part of the 11th Circuit, right in here. And so, loose stuff. Anyway, you want to take a few minutes and look at that map, familiarize yourself with it. Then there are other courtroom officials besides just the judges. There are U.S. attorneys, and there is one U.S. attorney per district. And their job is to represent the United States government in federal court. Prosecutes those who are charged with federal crime, represents the U.S. when we're involved in a civil suit, assisted by the assistant DA, district attorneys. There may be only one district attorney, but they may have several assistant DAs working for them. DA and assistant DAs are employees of the Department of Justice, the DOJ. They're appointed by the President, subject to Senate approval, and they serve 4 years, serves at the pleasure of the President. And other courtroom officials are public defenders. These are lawyers that are appointed by the panel of judges who make up the Court of Appeals to represent the poor or those who cannot afford a lawyer. Also, the U.S. Marshal Service is part of federal district courts. Serves in each judicial district, and they provide security and police protection at federal courthouses. They transport prisoners, track down and arrest people accused of federal crimes. And the head of each district office, the head U.S. Marshal, is appointed by the President, confirmed by the Senate, and they serve 4-year terms. And if you haven't seen U.S. Marshals with Tommy Lee Jones, you might want to do that. Of course, another good one that involves U.S. Marshals is Harrison Ford in The Fugitive, where he has escaped during a prison transfer, and so the U.S. Marshals go after him, although he is innocent. Federal Court of Appeals, there are 12 regional circuit courts, or Court of Appeals, plus 1 Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit. And so there are 13 in total. Court of Appeals hears cases that are appealed up from the district courts in their circuits. So we're in the 11th district, and so the district court hears the case, and somebody loses, they may appeal to the appellate court to hear it again. The appellate court hears about 55,000 cases, civil, criminal, administrative agencies as well. And the rulings of the district courts are very seldom overturned. Usually there has to be a legal procedure, snafu, for it to be overturned by the appeals court usually. The appellate is the person who files the appeal. The appellate usually has to show that there, again, was a legal mistake made in the district court case. And the case is heard by a panel, usually of 3 circuit judges, chosen randomly from the circuit. And they don't retry the case. New evidence is not reintroduced. They look at the court record, and then each side presents briefs or written arguments from both sides of the case. And then these judges will hear the oral arguments from each side, read the briefs, and then they will decide. And usually their decision is guided by precedents from the Supreme Court or from other previous court cases in that district. They would hold to stare decisis. You'd be familiar with that. After the appellate court rules, it's usually a final ruling. That's it. They may remand it to the lower court for another hearing, or they may review the case en banc when all the judges on that Court of Appeals come together to hear a case. Or they may say we need some guidance from the Supreme Court. Sometimes, though, they usually rule, and then appellate or somebody will appeal to the Supreme Court. The Federal Circuit, Court of Appeals for the Federal Circuit, is nationwide appellate jurisdiction for certain cases. They hear cases involving international trade, government contracts, patents, trademarks. These will all fall to the nationwide appellate rather than to a particular district. And then there are other federal courts, U.S. Court of International Trade, Tax Court, Court of Appeals for Veteran Claims, Court of Federal Claims, which would involve countries. Sovereign immunity is the nation is immune from being sued unless that a nation agrees to that. And then there's the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Armed Service. These are court-martial courts. Court-martial is when the hearing is held for the military to decide whether military personnel have violated the Uniform Code of Military Justice. Then there are national security courts, military commissions, Washington and territorial courts. The FISA court has come in the news of recent, so that would be a federal court as well. Okay, and that's about it. I hope you know all that.